A bigot will spend a great deal of his time looking for alibis. He must find statistics and literature that supports his distorted outlook. He will see blacks, Hispanics, Asians, Hebrews, and everyone else that is non-white as a threat. He sees them as a threat and becomes frightened. His fears become larger than life. He is overwhelmed. While he kneels on his hands and knees, groping for reasons to continue down the pathway of hatred, he cannot help but notice bits and pieces of truth. And the simple truth is, all of humankind is equal in the eyes of the Creator. The poor guy cannot go anywhere to get away from his inferiority and fear. He turns on the television as Bill Cosby. He turns the channel as Oprah Winfrey or Tony Brown. He decides to watch sports as Sammy Sosa, Emmett Smith, Ken Griffey Jr., Jackie John Kersey, or Shaquille O'Neal. He thinks Africans have taken over his country. He cannot escape his fear. He watches the news. There is Bernard Shaw. During the commercial, there are Japanese products all over the place. He goes to the movies as Eddie Murphy, Danny Glover, or Spike Lee. He reads the financial pages of the newspaper only to find that Korean Americans earn more money per capita than any other group of Americans. Every day, he will contemplate the fact that Hispanics are the fastest growing segment in America. His self-doubt and hatred is fueled. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot escape the notion that blacks and other people of color have taken over in his mind. It is a natural process of mind that he continues to focus on what is dominating his thoughts. Have you ever bought a new automobile and suddenly noticed the same model or type of car on seemingly every street? Your mind lets you see whatever monopolizes your thoughts. You have blocked out the 250 cars you passed along the way. All you seem to notice is that particular automobile that you have been thinking about. It is natural. Well, this is the same process that our Klansman friend is going through. He unwittingly ignores the strides of his white brethren. For all he focuses on are the advances of the so-called minorities. It literally drives him mad. His fears are greatly amplified or exaggerated by his feeble mind. The poor guy cannot walk down the street with his wife and pass a sharp, good-looking brother without feeling sexually inadequate. He secretly thinks his wife will like nothing more than a night at home with that big black stud. She has to try to prove to him that she is not turned on by the brother in the car next to them at the stoplight, or at the checkout stand, or in the mall. He is consumed with the notion that he is inadequate in ways that black men are powerful and potent. He cannot help thinking these thoughts because he has bought into all of the myths. His whole life has become a lie. He has become a sad, miserable wimp of a man who is trapped into the self-contained prison of his own mind. Fears at every turn. His anger and hatred towards himself grows. It is critical for us to understand this breed and see them for what they truly are, frightened white people. Do not let these wretched little people rain on your parade. Do not even stop to give them the time of day. We spend far too much time dwelling upon what these people think and do. Let them write their little bell curve books and pretend that they are intelligent. They have a right to their opinions, no matter how misguided and twisted they may be. However, most white racists are not of the skinhead or Klansman variety. These people are not even aware that they are racist. They get very angry when you accuse them of being bigots because they know that they do not harbor conscious ill feelings toward blacks. However, there are two main reasons that they should feel superior to blacks. First is an educational system that elevates whites to the level of virtual God. They learned early in school that white males did everything. They broke through with every medical breakthrough, climbed every mountain, settled every settlement, invented every invention, tamed a dark and wild world. Although whites do possess an impressive record of achievement over the past 500 years, our history books are replete with story after story where white males are depicted as the only people to achieve. Other races and the female gender are either virtually omitted or have had their inventions whitewashed. We learn that all the sciences were born of white male minds. When it becomes obvious that black men and women of Kemet, Alkebulan, or Egypt, Africa, were responsible for the foundations of medical science and mathematics, etc., they either do not mention it or claim that those Africans were dark-skinned, kinky-haired white people. White extremists in academia and the media have gone to extraordinary lengths to keep history as white and as pure as the driven snow. This indoctrination at our schools and over our airwaves has created a society full of whites who believe to the very core of their being that they are superior or that they hold a monopoly on truth. That is what happens when only one side of the story is told. The O.J. Simpson criminal and civil trials were perfect examples of what happened when the manipulators control and direct the thinking of an unsuspecting people. Anyone who saw the trial on television got twice as much information that pointed toward Simpson's innocence as those who had to rely on the white American media. The media simply overreported the evidence against Simpson and grossly underreported or neglected altogether to report evidence that pointed towards his innocence. A great number of whites believed Simpson to be innocent, judging by the massive number of whites who cheered him on his journey home from the jail. But the white media kept reporting that blacks and whites were simply diametrically opposed. As time went on, more and more whites were conditioned by a carefully crafted plan to make them believe that Simpson was guilty. That is exactly how the masses are controlled by those who are shapers of thought. Furthermore, that is why you see so many whites who are racist on levels that they are not even aware of themselves. They simply feel superior on a gut level. It is by design. It is unconscious. In their conscious minds, a racist is a Klansman who hates blacks and simply would not tolerate our presence in their country. Not many whites fall into that category.